Good morrow, scholars. Well, that felt weird. Good morrow, scholars. Welcome back to Twilight Reimagined. Well, actually, no. This episode is about Twilight. My mom and I were just discussing the first two chapters here, since that's as much as I've read, and comparing it between each other to what we've read in this one. And my mom had a lot of the same things to say that I mentioned before in a previous video, mostly regarding gender stereotypes. She, similar to me, but for different reasons and for different reasons, has trouble remembering who is what character. In regards to Twilight Reimagined, she keeps forgetting that it's Bo and not Bella from Twilight. And the scene in question that we were discussing was Bo in the kitchen cooking and cleaning and doing all the stuff that you expect because of stereotypes to be female. Meanwhile, my dad, sitting next to her on the couch, is looking at her like, whoops. Because he cooks and cleans because my mom once, let's see, she set fire to a dish rag. She melted a bowl. I inherited her cooking skills because I microwaved a hash brown and it caught fire, but it was still cold. Like, not even in the center. The whole thing was still cold, even where the fire had started on it. I don't remember how I put the fire out, though. At least the smoke was easy to clean up. Let's see. How you doing, Iggy? He's okay. So, my mom was telling me that I should probably go ahead and just, read Twilight as I'm reading Life and Death, Twilight Reimagined, so that I can compare between the two in real time with both chapters fresh in my mind. So I'm going to start doing that because she's the first person to give me some feedback as a part of, how this series should go. And let me know if you'd like to have my mom on the channel sometime and we can discuss Twilight and the pros and cons and whatnot. I'd love to do that. So, a couple of things I've noticed, I've mentioned somewhat before. Stephenie Meyer, she's mentioned, if you remember in the foreword I talked about it, how Bella was more flowery with her words than Bo would be. And my mom thought it was funny that Stephenie Meyer says that. But if you look, okay, Twilight, right? If you look closely, about right here, over here, that's Twilight, and this is Twilight Reimagined. Although Bella is supposed to be more flowery with her words, Twilight Reimagined is a thicker book. And the chapters are a little bit longer, and the paragraphs are a little bit longer or more spread out, depending on how you want to look at it. And my mom just thought it was funny that, Bella is supposed to be more wordy, and yet here is Bo, and he's not more descriptive. Because I notice a lot of sentences that Bella uses aren't present in this one, such as making the Cowardly Lion look like the Terminator, although it could be that I just forgot that he said that. I kind of want to go back and check real quick. Yeah, let's see. Because I do remember reading where he's talking to himself about what he would say to Edith and never, working up the courage to do so. Well, it could just be the, let's see. Yeah. Yeah, not here. So I find that interesting. Let's see. anything in regards to what else my mom said. Let's see. Anywho, I just thought I'd go ahead and do something a little interesting for you guys. Well, I guess not really interesting, but to prove that I am in fact reading this book, especially my friend Josh, who doesn't truly believe me, and my friend Miga, who you guys know of through my constant mentioning of. You get out of here. I'm going to read from Twilight Reimagined an excerpt for you. Probably just 3 pages, maybe 4. Get to page 70. I walked English in a kind of daze. I don't know if it was poorly phrased or if my dyslexia is acting up. I didn't realize when I first came through the door that class had already started. Miss Mason, I had a friend named Mason's irritated voice was my first clue. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Swan. I don't do irritated very well. Patches of red formed on my face as I hurried to my seat. It wasn't until class was over that I noticed Michaela wasn't sitting next to me like she usually did, and I remembered that I had hurt her feelings. But she and Erica waited at the door for me, so I thought that meant I would be forgiven eventually. As we walked, Michaela seemed to become herself again, getting more enthusiastic as she talked about the weather report for the weekend. The rain was supposed to take a short break, so her beach trip would be possible. I tried to match her enthusiasm to make up for disappointing her yesterday, but I could tell I wasn't fooling either of them. Rain or no rain, we would be lucky if the temperature even got close to 50 degrees. Not my idea of a beach day. The rest of the morning passed in blur. It was hard to believe that I wasn't imagining things again, that Edith really had said those words, and that her eyes had looked that way when she was saying them. Something about her confused my reality. First I thought I'd seen her stop a van barehanded, and now this. The original delusion seemed more likely than the second, and that appealed to her on any level. But here I was, walking into this one with eyes wide open, and I didn't even care that the punchline was coming. At the moment, it seemed like a decent trade, her laughter later, for that look in her eyes now. I was both eager and nervous when I finally got to the cafeteria at lunchtime. Would she ignore me like usual? Would there be any sign from her that the conversation this morning had, in fact, happened? With a small percentage of my brain, I listened to Jeremy. Michaela had asked him to the dance, and they were going to go with a few others, Alan and Erica, Logan and Taylor. Who's Logan in the series proper? I think I grunted in the right places because he didn't seem to notice how little of my attention I was giving him. My eyes went straight to her table as soon as I was through the door, and then disappointment hit like a punch to the gut. There were only 4 people there, and Edith wasn't one of them. Was she going to disappear every time something significant happened? Of course, the conversation this morning was only significant to me, I was sure. I also had those feelings. I lost my appetite. I grabbed a bottle of lemonade. I could use some lemonade. For something to carry, and followed Jeremy robotically through the line, wishing I were the kind of person who could just go home early, the kind who didn't worry about unexcused absences and detention and disappointed parental figures. Edith Cullen is staring at you again, Jeremy said. I was 100% paying attention as soon as I said her name. I wonder why she's sitting alone today. My head snapped up, and I quickly followed his line of sight. Edith was sitting at an empty table across the cafeteria from where she usually sat. Her dimples flashed as soon as she knew I'd seen her. She raised one hand and motioned with her index finger for me to join her. As I stared, not entirely believing my own eyes, she winked. Does she mean you? Jeremy asked. There was an insult in his astonishment, but I was past caring. Maybe she needs help with her biology homework. I guess I should go see what she wants. I could feel Jeremy staring after me as I walked away. I could also feel those ugly splotches of red start up my neck. I tried to calm myself. When I got to her table, I just stood there behind the chair across from her, awkward. I used to say awkward all the time after like every other sentence, because I always was. Why don't you sit with me today, she suggested through a wide smile. I sat down automatically, watching her expression. Was this how the joke ended? She hadn't stopped smiling. I found that I still didn't care. Whatever got me more time this close to her. I used the wrong inflection in there. She stared back at me, still smiling. Did she want me to say something? This is, different, I finally managed. Well, she said, and then paused. I could tell there was more, so I waited. The rest of it followed in a rush, the words blurring together so that it took me a minute to decipher the meaning. I decided as long as I was going to, I might as well do it thoroughly. I kept waiting, thinking she would explain, but she didn't. The silence got more uncomfortable as the seconds passed. You know, I don't understand what you mean, right? I asked. I'm counting on it, she said, and then her eyes focused behind me. I think your friends are upset that I've stolen you. Suddenly, I could feel all their eyes boring into my back. For once, it didn't bother me at all. They'll survive. She grinned. I may not get you back, though. I swallowed too loud, and she laughed. I kind of did that, too. You look worried, she said. No. I stopped to swallow again, hearing the edge of a break in my voice, but surprised, yes. What's this all about? I gestured toward her and the rest of the empty table. I told you, I'm tired of trying to stay away from you, so I'm giving up. The smile was fading, and her eyes were serious by the end. Giving up? I repeated. Yes, giving up trying to be good. I'm just going to do what I want now, and let the chips fall where they may. I don't like that phrase. The smile disappeared completely, and a hard edge crept into her silky voice. You lost me again. It looked like she found that funny. I always say too much when it comes to talking to you. That's one of the problems. Don't worry. I don't understand anything you say. Like I said, I'm counting on that. We stared at each other for a few seconds, but the quiet wasn't awkward this time. It was more charged. My face started to get hot again. So, I said, looking away so that I could catch my breath. In plain English, are we friends now? Friends, she murmured. She sounded like it wasn't her favorite word. Or not, I offered. Well, we can try, I suppose. But I'm warning you again that I'm not a good friend for you to have. Her smile was brittle now, the warning real. You say that a lot. Funny how my stomach was rolling. Was it because I was hungry after all? Because she was smiling at me? Or because I suddenly almost believed her? I could tell that she believed what she was saying. I do, because you're not listening. I'm still waiting for you to hear me. If you're smart, you'll avoid me. Then I had to smile. And I watched as her smile automatically got bigger in response. I thought we'd already come to the conclusion that I'm an idiot, or absurd, or whatever. I did apologize, for the second one at least. Will you forgive me for the first? I spoke without thinking. Yeah, of course. You don't have to apologize to me. She sighed. Don't I? I don't know how to answer. It sounded like a rhetoric. It sounded like a rhetorical question anyway. I stared down at my hands wrapped around the lemonade bottle, not sure what to do. It was so strange to sit with her here, like normal people. I was sure only one of us was normal. What are you thinking? She asked. I looked up. She was staring again, her gold eyes curious and, like the first time I'd seen her, frustrated. Once again, my thoughts refused to pass through the appropriate filter. I'm wondering what you are. Her smile tightened, like her teeth were suddenly clamped together, but she held it carefully in place. Are you having much luck with that? Her voice was casual, like she didn't really care about my answer. My neck got hot, and I assumed unattractively blotchy. During the last month, I'd given it some thought, but the only solutions I could come up with were completely ridiculous, like Clark Kent and Peter Parker level nonsense. She tilted her head to the side, staring into my eyes as if she were trying to see through them. Right into my brain. She smiled, inviting this time, impossible to resist. Won't you tell me? But I had to try to resist. She already thought I was an idiot. I shook my head. Too embarrassing. That's really frustrating, she complained. Really? I raised my eyebrows, like someone refusing to tell you what she's thinking, even if all the while she's making cryptic little comments designed to keep you up at night wondering what she could possibly mean. Frustrating like that? She frowned, her lips pouting out in a distracting way. I worked to hold on to my focus. Or is it frustrating, like, say, she's done a bunch of other strange things, for example, saving your life under impossible circumstances one day, then treating you like a pariah the next. And she never explained any of that either, even after she promised. Frustrating like that? Her frown twitched, then settled into a deeper scowl. You're really not over that yet? Not quite yet. Would another apology help? An explanation would be better. She pursed her lips, then glanced past my left arm and laughed once. What? Your girlfriend thinks I'm being mean to you. She's debating whether or not to come right up our fight. I don't have a girlfriend, and you're trying to change the subject. She ignored the second half of my statement. You might not think of her that way, but it's how she thinks of you. There's no way that's true. It is, I told you. Most people are very easy to read, except me. Yes, except for you. Her eyes shifted to me, intensified, drilling into mine. I wonder why that is. Okay. Wow, that took a lot longer than I thought it would. I apologize. So, let me know if you guys feel like maybe I should just do an audiobook. I try and put the proper inflection where it's needed, because my main complaint with audiobooks nowadays is the voice actors will just say the words rather than feel them. So I hope I did well. Let me know if I need work. This would be good practice for me to be a voice actor. I've always wanted to be in like an anime or cartoons. Or just audiobooks. So yeah, like I said, let me know. This was just something real quick and special I wanted to do just because Twilight. This was chapter 5. So let's see, it was the first 4 pages. I guess technically I went from 66 to 70 and then like 2 lines of 71. So let me know if you want to see more, if you want me to start from the beginning, and I'll just read the whole book for you guys. But until next time, goodbye everybody. You know, whoever's watching.